Tonight on Alaska's news source, one person is dead after a hit and run in Anchorage.
Cooler temperatures are rolling in this Labor Day weekend, but more storms ahead for western Alaska.
Plus, a big moment at the Alaska State Fair. Hear the results of the cabbage weigh-off. And researching salt marshes in Alaska, a group of scientists looks at what they can tell us about our climate.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
One person is dead after a hit and run in Anchorage last night. APD says it happened near Northern Lights and Boniface around 8 p.m. Police say, based on the preliminary investigation, a vehicle, which is thought to be a black SUV, hit a pedestrian and left the area. The pedestrian died at the hospital. Their identity has not been released. APD is asking anyone with information or surveillance footage of the area to contact them or leave an anonymous information at anchoragecrimestoppers.com. And everyone is okay after the Anchorage Fire Department was dispatched for a plane crash at Merrill Field around 10 last night. AFD says when it arrived on scene, everyone was out of the plane, which was on its belly. AFD says no one was injured. The NTSB says the landing gear was not deployed before the crash and a certified flight instructor was on board. We reached out to the previous owner of the plane, who said he sold it to the new owner just hours before the crash. He says this morning he saw the plane and says the prop was horribly bent. And Bailey, the extended weekend is finally here. What do people need to know for the rest of the holiday weekend?
Well, the good news is that we're not going to have as many storms here in South Central, at least. But over in western Alaska, you're going to get some rain for your holiday weekend. But here in Anchorage, we're going to see some cloudy skies very similar to what we saw today. With our out-the-door forecast and our photo from Barney Pete, of course, I had to include my favorite lenticular clouds. But looking ahead for tomorrow, just cloudy skies continuing on, very similar to what we saw today, like I said. But of course, the crisp autumn air is here, finally. It's not quite autumn just yet, but it definitely feels like it. So with our skycast, we're going to feel those cooler temperatures overnight. And of course, those clouds are going to continue to roll in as we approach the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, temperatures staying very cool like they did today, with highs near 60 degrees, with continued cloud cover with spotty chances of sunlight throughout the day. But of course, with our Alaska forecast statewide, we're seeing some of that cloud cover return to western Alaska and parts of the interior, with more showers on the way for western Alaska. But temperatures staying relatively cool, nearly in the 50s and low 60s throughout most of the state, except for southeast, of course. They're continuing to see those warmer temperatures. But currently, we're seeing a lot of sunny skies in Fairbanks, of course, in Ketchikan, and here in Palmer and Anchorage, we're seeing those cloudy skies continuing to return. They're going to continue throughout our weekend. We'll see what Labor Day looks like as we get into tomorrow. But of course, Michaela, it's time for our fun fact. So with our Brain and Brawn fun fact of today, did you know that a herd of giraffes is called a tower? Of course, part two is that their spots are just as unique as human fingerprints, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. The tower part kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bailey. And one of the Alaska State Fair's proudest traditions is its giant vegetables. And yesterday, Charlie Fellows was checking them out as it was decided which one would be crowned 2025's Cabbage King.
Alaska is the largest state in the Union, home to its largest forests, glaciers, wildlife, the list goes on. So it's only natural that the vegetables would follow suit.
Number is 84.2.
The 29th running, or squatting, of the Alaska State Fair's Cabbage Weigh-Off was electric.
Congratulations, first-year grower.
Well attended, and a great chance for the cabbage-growing community to gather.
We all talk when we get here at the fair, you know, and when we see each other, like Scott Robb, he's like the cabbage king of the whole world, because he really does have the world record cabbage.
A nickname that proved prophetic.
And in first place, the Alaska State Fair is proud to present the first place ribbon and prize of $1,000, weighing in at 84.2 pounds, to Scott Robb.
And while anyone can enter, Rob knows what separates the wheat from the chaff, or whatever the cabbage-related adaptation of that analogy would be.
If you don't have the desire and the drive, just like anything in life, it won't happen. So, you know, just patience and perseverance, and it's not hard to, everything that I've done, you know, the seed, the fertilizer, it's out there for everybody to get.
Tools once again used to their fullest potential. a third win under the belt of a cabbage-growing legend. Charlie Fellows, Alaska's news source.
Rob's winning entry was 84.2 pounds. For reference, his 2012 winner that set the Guinness World Record for largest green cabbage ever grown was a staggering 138.3 pounds. And what can salt marshes tell us about our climate? That's what a group of researchers is hoping to find out. Over the summer, a group of researchers from across the United States came up to Alaska to study our salt marshes. Marshes are resilient when compared to their lower 48 counterparts because of the extreme weather we see during the winter months. Icy conditions are often left out of studies globally when research is conducted in marshes like this. Because of that, one thing that surprised one of the researchers was how many different types of plants live and exist in rapidly growing biome compared to the lower 48 counterparts.
Where I've worked before, it's been more like 2 to 5 species in that area, and here we're up to like 20 to 30. And seeing that, it creates also structural complexity, so the different shapes of the roots and of the stems that interact with the waves and the flow differently. So it's actually going to change how that sedimentation is happening.
The research was conducted in the salt marshes near Anchorage and Cordova because of their proximity to the epicenter of the 1964 Great Alaska Earthquake. When we come back, we meet the Alaska's 2025 Farm Family of the Year, and the name of the nursery might sound familiar.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
For decades, Bell's Nursery has been providing Anchorage homes with fresh produce, Christmas trees, and other fun gifts and knickknacks. That's part of the reason why Governor Dunleavy presented it with Farm Family of the Year earlier this month. In case you missed it, Joe Allgood spent some time with the man who started it all and shares his story.
See, more beefsteak. We grow heirlooms, too.
While most Alaskans might not know Mike Mosession, they've probably come across his tomatoes.
People ask in April, where are the Bell's Nursery tomatoes? Because they're sick and tired of eating those tasteless tomatoes. They're nothing more than a garnish.
A fourth-generation farmer with over half a century of experience, Mosession and his family were named Alaska's 2025 Farm Family of the Year.
I didn't even know such an award existed. I was very surprised.
Moving to Alaska from California in the 70s, Mosession began farming in 2 small Quonset huts. From there, both his tomatoes and his business quickly grew.
And I just kept building. And I never thought about going into flower business. I didn't know a petunia from a pansy. I knew nothing about flowers. I knew nothing about poinsettias. But, you know, if you can read, you can study, you can learn.
Not only willing to learn, but also quick to share.
Eat it. Just stick the whole thing in your mouth. Try that. Ooh. Try this one. Try that one. Is it hot?
It is. I mean, but it's very fresh.
Oh, yeah, I just picked it. It's
so
not even a minute old.
Yeah. Mosession's enthusiasm and can-do attitude is infectious.
The farmer's optimistic. He plants right up to the fence row.
And after years of planting flowers, fruits, and vegetables, Mosession decided to get back to his roots, or rather, his vines.
In 2012, I said, well, I can grow wine grapes. I know how to grow grapes, but I didn't know how to make wine. So I had to study about that.
A childhood spent in his father's vineyard, Mosession carries on the legacy. The first commercial vineyard in Alaska.
I'm curious, do you have, of all the things you grow, a favorite plant or vegetable that you grow?
Yeah, the grapes.
The grapes.
Yes.
I thought that was the case.
They're more exciting.
With no plans to retire, Mosession credits his family, his employees, and Alaska with the success he's enjoyed.
Without them, I can't do this. That's, you know, I thank them, and I thank the people in Alaska who buy my products. Without their support, I would have nothing.
Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.